Oh, welcome back, my gardening friends. It's Saturday the 17th of December, and I've just had a quick look round, see what I can get done. But I've flipped that lid over and you can even see the frost there, and that ice is probably 2 inches thick, and everywhere is looking very sad. Very, very sad indeed. Even the ground's lifted right up. It's everything's just pushing up. This is why potholes form in the carriageway. The water that's within the road expands, pushes up, and then you end up with the potholes. That's why we try and seal the surfaces with surface treatments, which are in my jobs that I do. And the broad beans for the field beans, green manure, are looking very sad indeed. I might end up cutting those off at the bottom and letting them reshoot, but that's the chance we take when we planted them early. But remember, all these other beds have had the green manure cut and drop, chop and drop, and now the worms are working on it, ready for our plants for 2023. And there will be no excuses for the garlic not to split this year, because it's got down to about -8 to -10, and everywhere is rock solid. But the shallots are looking good, multiple heads on those, so we'll get lots and lots of baby shallots to do our pickle onions. It'll be interesting to see how these do. They'll bounce back once the frost comes out of them, but it's been severe for the UK this winter. Well, this December, where we had January, where there were record rain and warm temperatures. And of course, our brassicas love this weather. Those Brussels sprouts now have had a real good frost, so that'll get them tasting at their best. And when we staked up the purple or claret sprouting broccoli, look how healthy that looks. Are the whitefly alive? Yeah, you're not flying about today, are you? Give it a good shake, they'll land on the floor, they won't like it. And looks like the what bit of broccoli I've got will last up to Christmas Day, so that'll make a nice harvest on Christmas morning. Don't miss that at 8 o'clock on Christmas morning. And then the King's Speech at 3 o'clock Christmas Day afternoon. My King's Speech, of course. The red onion sets that we put in before, well, around the autumn time. Well, I can't see any weeds now, and I haven't picked them out. So this is the last day of the cold. Tomorrow it should start warming up. Monday I'll have my shorts on. I'm looking around for jobs to do. I can't even cut this raspberry canes down. These are the autumn fruiting. They're still holding on to the leaves. They may drop off now once we get this warm spell. Still only collected 11 bags of leaves. They're froze to the ground, so I can't collect any of those. And my 1-year-old leaf mould, solid. Don't want to disturb that because the worms will be hiding in the middle of that somewhere, and we've got the leaf mould rejects sitting over there covered up. There's not a lot you can do, so what can I do? So I've got all these old pallets that we no longer need. I've got all this wood here. I'm going to get the chainsaw out and I'm going to cut it up into manageable pieces. I don't want a big fire, so we can hack all that up, and then after 12 today I can start burning some. But Robin's floating about thinking, is he going to open that compost bin? Go on then, I'll open it for him. I'm sure the rats won't be in here. Looks like there's been a bit of activity down there, digging another hole. But there's all the Raffle Flutter tickets. I've composted you. But I'll prop this up, then the robin can get in there and have a little scratch around. Not sure how the Christmas potatoes will have fared in here. Let's just oh no, that's hard. So let's hope that the Christmas potatoes aren't frosted, but unfortunately wherever I'd have put them they would have froze, even in the shed at home. Just before I forget, I found this dumped in the bottom of a ditch. It was attached to an IBC. It looked like it might have had poison in, so I haven't tried salvaging the IBC. Not sure whether it's any good or not, but this will be ideal to put on the bottom of that IBC in there when I start collecting the manure again. So that was a good find. You don't always get those with the attachments on, and I'll be able to feed it straight into the bucket. So we'll just do a little bit of pause and record. The asparagus ferns are very wet, frosted, so I'm just moving them close to the fire. As soon as they dry out, they start to sizzle and burn. Saves creating too much smoke. Doing the same with the wet wood on the left, just pushing it a little bit closer each time, just so it dries out enough to burn. So I've got myself at the moment 3 bags of wood for the rocket stove. That's more than enough to last me this year. There will be some more under that pile. I didn't think at the time, but we're due some rain tomorrow afternoon, so I'm going to try and get up here in the morning and do a little bit more if I can. It's still going to be frosty, but I'm going to cover this up tonight, whatever I don't burn on the fire today. But I'd like to get rid of the ferns and some of the other stuff. The rest will easily burn in my basket up there on the middle of the screen. Well, while I've been waiting, I've moved all that, sorted out another bag of wood for the rocket stove. That's just opened all this area up now. I'm just going to let that burn down. I've just had my call for gritting again, and I think I've been out nearly every night and early hours of the morning the last 15-14 days, maybe even longer. But hopefully now it's going to warm up, I can spend a bit more time at home. It is quite tiring getting home from work, rushing your tea, rushing back to work, getting back at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, going to bed, up again at 5. But Mrs K's happy with the extra pennies. And while I've been waiting for the fire to die back, I'm not putting no more wood on. I'll cover that up shortly once the fire's died down. I've been looking at the polycarbonate sheets that we've got. I've got 4 of those dark ones, and we've got one of those big ones that were left over from the compost bin covers over there. So well worth asking when people throw out the polycarbonate. So now all I've got to wait for is for it to have some dry weather, so I can put a silicone bead at the end so the water doesn't travel back uphill, because there's not much of a pitch on that, just enough to get the water away, but water does grow uphill, not grow uphill, but goes uphill. So that'll work out just nice. That's a bit of an overlap there and a nice tight fit there. I cut that bit of polycarbonate out at that end, so now that water can come down here. I can remove that board once it's all in place, that was protecting all my cardboard. And with this one being longer, it'll help keep some of the stuff under the shed dry. There's 2 bags of leaves in the bin there, and all I've got to do is add the 700 litres of the cannabis compost that was unscrupulously dumped to the list for December, unless I end up fetching a little bit more from there. Trouble is, I've got very little room to keep it at the moment, so it can stay in those bags stacked away until we set all the pallet collars out in this area. And I think there's going to be another 6, I think. Yeah, there'll be 3 there, 3 here. We're emptying those and creating 3 big ones over there, bringing it uphill just slightly, just so we get a 500 gap here, enough to walk down, so we could admire the wildflower area. You're not thawing out much, are you? When we built the leaf mould bin, I said I was going to put a pallet across to put my garden canes in, like a lot of allotment tiers do, but that sheet's going to overhang a bit, so I thought, well, I've got these 2 wheelie bins and those, and I thought, well, if I cut the top part off completely, raise it up onto those blocks that we left there on purpose, sort of, they were too long, and then fasten them to a sturdier piece of wood, and then put some battens at the top and in the bottom to hold the different size canes up, and then the second one I can use to hold the pea supports. They're the autumn raspberry canes from, I think, 2 years ago, but no doubt there'll be a few more long, good, sturdy ones in amongst these to repurpose for a few more years to support me peas. So that looks like another little job to do. Might as well reuse the things that I've already picked up for recycling and reuse. I think it'll look quite nice at the end there, and then we can bring the water from the roof across this way with any blue barrels that we get. I've got 2 at home ready to go, but I just need to get them cut. Well, I've had 4 hours here. It's time to go home, get myself something to eat. and then prepare myself for an evening gritting. Please stay safe out there, my friends. Some places are having heavy snow, etc. You should see this on Sunday the 18th, if everything goes well. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now.